The rain came down in heavy sheets that night, blurring the winding countryside road and drenching everything in sight. Jack Dawson, a hard-working single father, gripped the steering wheel of his old pickup truck tightly as the wipers fought against the downpour. In the back seat sat his two daughters, Lily and Emma, their soft voices singing quietly to the rhythm of the rain. They were heading home after a long day in town, their small bags of groceries resting by their feet. Jack's mind wandered as he thought about the bills piling up, the broken heater in the house, and how he would stretch what little money he had left until the end of the month. But when Lily pointed ahead, her little finger trembling, his thoughts snapped back to the road. "Dad, look! There's a car over there," she said. Jack squinted through the rain. A sleek black car stood by the roadside, its hazard lights blinking weakly through the storm. Something didn't feel right. Without hesitation, he pulled over and parked behind it. The rain soaked through his jacket as soon as he stepped out, but he pushed forward, shielding his face with one arm as he approached the car. Inside, a woman sat slumped over the steering wheel, her hair damp, her forehead bleeding slightly from a small cut. The airbag had deployed, and she looked dazed, barely conscious. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" Jack asked firmly but gently. The woman blinked, whispering something about losing control on the slippery road. Jack grabbed his jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You're going to be fine. Stay awake, all right? Help is on the way." He rushed back to his truck, told Lily to hand him the first aid kit, and returned quickly. His hands were cold and trembling, but he managed to clean the wound and stop the bleeding. The woman looked at him through half-closed eyes. "Why did you stop?" she murmured weakly. Jack smiled faintly. "Because someone needed help. That's reason enough." Minutes later, the distant wail of an ambulance broke through the rain. As the paramedics arrived and carefully lifted her onto a stretcher, she reached for his hand, squeezing it softly. "Thank you." "You saved me." Jack nodded humbly, his daughters watching from the truck, wide-eyed and silent. As he drove away, he looked back once more at the flashing lights disappearing into the night, unaware that the woman he had just saved was a millionaire, and that this stormy night would soon rewrite the story of his life. A week after the storm, the sun finally broke through the clouds, warming the small town where Jack Dawson lived with his daughters. It was an ordinary morning at his humble repair shop, a wooden structure filled with the smell of oil and the sound of tools clinking against metal. Jack worked beneath an old sedan, wiping sweat from his brow, while Lily and Emma played outside, laughing as they kicked a worn-out soccer ball across the dusty ground. The rumble of an unfamiliar engine caught Jack's attention. He rolled out from under the car, his hands stained with grease, and saw a sleek black SUV pulling up in front of the shop. The vehicle was spotless, elegant, and clearly expensive, completely out of place in their small neighborhood. The door opened, and stepping out was the woman he had rescued. She looked radiant and confident, dressed in a white blazer and heels that gleamed in the sunlight. Jack froze for a moment, unsure if his eyes were playing tricks on him. "Mr. Dawson?" she called softly, walking toward him with a warm smile. Jack nodded, wiping his hands nervously on a rag. "You're the woman from the accident. I'm glad you're okay." She smiled wider. "Victoria Hale," she said, extending her hand. "I've been looking for you. You saved my life, and I never got to thank you properly." Jack hesitated. "You really didn't have to come all this way, ma'am. I just did what anyone would have done." Victoria shook her head. "No, Jack, not everyone would have stopped in that storm, especially with two children in the car. You risked yourself to help a stranger. That means something to me." Before Jack could reply, his daughters came running up, shyly clutching his arm. Victoria knelt and smiled at them. "You must be Lily and Emma. Your dad's quite a hero." The girls giggled, their cheeks turning pink. Over the following weeks, Victoria returned often. She brought groceries, new tools for his workshop, and helped him get more clients through her business contacts. Slowly, Jack's struggling garage turned into a successful auto center. His daughters adored Victoria, and Jack began to see her not as the wealthy woman he rescued, but as a kind-hearted friend who brought warmth into their lives. One quiet evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Victoria joined them for dinner. Laughter filled the small house, and for the first time in years, Jack felt complete. The night he stopped to help a stranger had become the night that gave him hope, love, and a new beginning.